trying to play really fast. The OD is kind of a slow hero as well, right? To get the ball rolling, needs a couple of items, and I think especially in a game like this, he's going to need some mobility to be able to get away from the Tusk and the Centaur, and then you need need to get some attack speed, need to get quite a bit of int. So it's going to take him a little while to get there. It does, of course, farm a bit faster now than he used to, but still, we're sort of looking at 25-30 minutes for the OD to really be well and truly online. Aster a little bit low on time here to make this last pick. I'm sure they've already got something in mind, but they have dug through pretty much all of their reserve time.
Yeah, I usually wait till like 1 or 2 seconds, so I'll have to make that pick. Pretty standard. And they go tied.
Okay.
So it will be that safe lane, Sven.
Yeah, looks like it. Okay, so then, yeah, we've got the 5 Bane. That was always going to be the case. Earth Spirit 4. It's not a bad game necessarily for core Sven. Of course, the Warcry is going to be very useful this game against the Jug.
Ooh, Huskar. Ooh.
Oh,
So
man.
the Tide here is for XXS, and he's been going Vlad's first on the Tide Hunter. It's been a very popular pick in the Chinese region, aggressive too, using that Anchor Smash, blinking in, getting Blink after the Vlads to blink in Anchor Smash, and just try and be that tanky hero, be that frontliner that they need, and let heroes like the OD kind of, sit a little bit further back at like a Dragonlance and right-click away and just the brunt force being thrown at XSS. But again, you do have now a position 1 Sven, so you are tanky with the Warcry. You'll have another guy to get in there. I would assume a little bit later on the Sven maybe gets a blink, but looking at this Evil Geniuses lineup too, where you've now got Huskar and Oracle, I'm interested to see how Aster are going to go against this or go up against this.
Yeah, I really like this Huskar pick. It's really annoying for the OD with the disarm now, and of course amazing synergy with the Oracle, so looking like a pretty good Huskar game. I think the one thing is that Aster do have enough burst to be able to deal with him kind of later on. That seems to be that's the big thing against the new Huskar, right? You just need to bring him down. You can't let that regen kick in. Of course, it's going to be difficult. They're going to need to coordinate that the Earth Spirit goes on the Oracle at the same time. Maybe the Sven and the OD, they're going in and going for the Huskar. That is the one nice thing about the Tide Hunter pick here, is that they knew that they're going to pick something else to... I mean, Jug's already pretty good with Oracle, but they were going to pick something that synergizes with the Oracle more than likely. But Tide's nice to just be able to blink into the middle of the fight. Maybe the Ravage clips the Oracle, and then you've got the opportunity to focus somebody else down. So they do have a game plan, but it's very much all focused on trying to win, trying to do okay in the lanes, and then just take those big team fights when the opportunity presents itself. If they can get through the sort of mid to late game, I like their lineup quite a bit, but EG's draft is super fast, so it's going to be tough.
Yeah, so we'll see how Aster goes up against this fast draft. You've got XSS, who's leaning more towards the safe lane right now on this Tide Hunter. Then you've got Bobik on the Earth Spirit, Fenrir on the Bane, Sylar playing the Sven, and finally Love You Love Me, a.k.a. Lover, on the OD. And then for the side of EG, Arteezy is going to be playing that Jug. You've got Huskar, played by Sumail, and then Fly on the Oracle in the offlane S4 with the Centaur. And finally, to round it all off, Crit on the Tusk. And I'm interested to see again what the situation is going to be here with Bobik. I think you're talking about how quick this Evil Geniuses lineup is going to be. Is Bobik going to be able to maybe straighten it out, slow it down a little bit by showing some aggression and disrupting these lanes?
Yeah, if he can get some good ganks, that would certainly help out a lot. And Huskar is a hero that, good in lane, but also quite vulnerable. Doesn't have a whole lot of mobility. He's quite slow. 290 move speed at the start, so should be fairly easy for the Earth Spirit to get in there. Then maybe kick him under the tower or something like that. So Sumail's still going to have to be a little bit careful, or at least careful when Bavoka is off the map. They are choosing to put the Tide Hunter in the safe lane and running kind of an aggressive tri-lane at the start here. Looks like EG choosing to adjust the lanes, though. They scouted it, and Arteezy is now running over towards mid lane just for a second. I don't know if he's just on his way down towards bottom. Yeah, he's just helping out with the block.
Such a good carry to help out somebody else, But you've got Love You Love Me here against Sumail early. Already we take a look. Bobika looking to set up something. as they did D-ward earlier, so Sumail's here without vision on the high ground, and they've got their vision. They'll use the Astral Imprisonment, get the Rolling Boulder in. Bobica looking for the kill on Sumail, but it's just a little bit of pot shot damage coming out onto the Huskar to make this lane a little bit more bearable for Love You Love Me at the moment.
Yeah, just gonna end up being... It's just harassment at the end of the day. Crit taking some damage up top as well, but looks like he's going to be okay. EG's game plan, I think they wanted to have the Tusk immediately gank for the Jug and just get a kill there right off the bat. I think they were really hoping that the Tidehunter was going to come to the offlane and that they'd be able to kill him immediately, but...
Might be able to get the kill on Sumail mid, and there it is. First blood coming out, and Bobica stayed in this lane. They dual lane for a while, got level 2. And with the Boulder Smash hitting onto the Huskar, they had enough damage from Love You Love Me to get the kill. And Bobica's actually not leaving. He goes into the trees. It looks like he's going off this lane, but if Sumail's not careful, he could just find himself in the same position again.
Yeah, there isn't a whole lot that EG can really do to respond to this just yet. So I think they're just going to have to leave Sumail kind of out on an island. But this is really good for Aster, because it means that the OD is getting off to a good start. Like I said, he's not the fastest farming hero in the world, but when you get a good start, you'll be just fine. And he needs those 3 or 4 items this game to really get things done. I like the way that Bobica's doing this. And Sumail's just afraid. Doesn't really want to approach the creep wave, just soaking experience for now.
How's this going for Tide over bottom? He's level 2, 5-0 against the 10-3 of RTZ.
Doing okay. A little bit low on the regen right now, and I don't think he's going to be getting a whole lot of courier priority necessarily, so does have to be careful, but I don't think they have quite enough damage between just the Jug and the Oracle to be able to kill him, really. It's going to take another +1 to be able to grab that kill. Oh, kick back on mid? Don't think so. Sumail going to take a bit more damage.
They don't have Boulder Smash or anything just yet, but Sumail in a little bit of trouble. The right click's coming out. And we'll see if they go under the tower, and, well, without the creeps, they'll lose Bobica, because the tower is just hitting away at him, as well as Sumail, who gets credit for the kill. But Love You Love Me with his second kill onto this Huskar, and that is a big problem right now, as you talked about how OD was a slow starter, but having a good time over mid.
Yeah. Oh, all right. And Tide doesn't end up going down.
Nice hook stomp onto 3, but S4 as well as crit hit with the Boulder Smash. Now they've got the Storm Hammer onto this Centaur, and they'll get the kill. They lose the Tide over bottom, but Bobica, again, this is what I was talking about, him disrupting lanes, and they go over towards top to get that kill onto the Centaur and give them an advantage in this top lane.
Yeah, I think Bobica's even, like, he's not unhappy that he died at mid, necessarily. Getting a free trip back to the fountain, get his mana back, who's pretty low. And then immediately comes up top and gets another kill, so he's doing fantastically. Oh,
he's going to damage on too, because they might look for crit. They've got the Storm Hammer, Boulder Smash hitting on it too. The Nightmare holds in the Centaur. The shards come out, Bobica next to the tower, but it's not going to matter. They'll get the kill on a crit. S4 hitting away at Sylar. They've got Fenrir ready with the Nightmare in 10 seconds, but actually doesn't have the mana for it just yet. By the time he's got it up, he might have enough regen on the mana to have it. They might work with that to start possibly another kill after Sylar heals up with the Salve.
Yeah, they made another attempt on XXS at bottom in the meantime, but he started healing up a little bit off of the Purifying Flames, and well, they're trying again now.
And with the Blade Fury, there it is. And that's that aggression coming out from RTZ and Fly to get yet another kill on XSS.
Yeah, the Oracle's actually doing, well, not a surprising amount of damage, but yeah, really pulling his weight and helping getting these kills at bottom, and Fly having quite a good start. Another roll in mid.
Now looking for Sumail one more time. Fly makes the rotation over the Boulder Smash, hits on both of them. They'll get the kill on Love You Love Me, but Bobica gets the kill on Sumail first. He might actually fall with the Purifying Flames, nothing to follow it up, so does some damage, but it heals him up as well, so Fly comes over, doesn't save the life of Sumail. He's dead for the 3rd time, but they do at least get Love You Love Me, and the Rolling Boulder at least attempting to go for Fly, and Sumail coming back into the lane as well as Love You Love Me. Just looking to disrupt this mid lane even more, and Lover has a 1-level lead so far on Sumail.
And Bobica was stone cold there. Like, he had the Fairy Fire the entire time while the Burning Spears were ticking on him, and didn't even use it. He knew that the Purifying Flames was gonna keep him alive. Heading back now. Big lane swap for Aster. They're sending the Tide over to top now. Sylar is gonna start just farming up over at bottom. He does need to be careful down here, though. Doesn't have any help from the supports, and Fly is in the neighborhood, so... Okay, yeah, now they've got Boboka down here. Should be okay.
Boboka here with Sylar. Meanwhile, Lover will go over towards the jungle, and Fenrir will place another ward. He'll sit over mid to maybe just sap a little bit of experience.
Punch in XXS. He's getting body blocked. Yeah, he's okay.
An exception.
5-4 early. Sumail, of course, dealing with the 3 deaths early in this game.
Yeah, this is... I think this is not quite the start that EG were hoping for, necessarily. I do think Sumail's going to be able to catch up a little bit once they start taking some towers. Of course, he's not really much of a flash farmer.
Oh no, mid again though. Setting up the boulder smash. Sumail, right click's coming in from Love You Love Me. They've got Crit to try and help, but the Sandy's clip is going to be dropped. Now the silence through on a Crit who has to back off. He did use tag team. A couple of burning spears placed onto Lover, but that is Sumail dead for the fourth time, and this is a lineup we thought was going to start executing earlier.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised to see no point in inner fire just yet from Sumail. I feel like it would... I don't know if it would necessarily save him, but it would at least buy him a little bit more time for, you know, counter ganks on this mid lane. Or just make it a little bit more difficult for Aster to bring him down, because I feel like they're not struggling at all for the time being to just keep on sauntering over to mid lane and finding these easy kills.
Sylar has found a spot in this bottom lane as they did make that swap with XXS, who's now level 6 and has the Ravage, so we could see them look to be aggressive, come maybe a couple more levels with the Tidehunter, but they don't even need him right now. The Fortune's End comes out. Now the Stampede's going to be able to follow it up. Sylar in a lot of trouble, surrounded by 3 heroes. The Escrow Prison comes through, and the Snowball to follow it up possibly for more, but short of Love You Love Me, but the shards are perfect. Nightmare comes in, the hook stomp to follow it up. The Nightmare is pulled off by Fly, and Love You Love Me is dead, as is Sylar. 2 heroes gone on Aster. EG really making up for the slow start over mid.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to stick around here. Looks like S4 they are going to go for this tower. I don't know if Aster should have tried for that, even without the immediate rotation from EG. It was just going to be so difficult to get the jug with Fly sitting right there, and very nicely timed Fate's Edict from him blocked a lot of the damage from the Earth Spirit. But still, even 6-6. Aster doing pretty well across the board on the CS at least. Sylar's having a little bit of a slow game, but the OD's having a fantastic time, so not too much of a concern.
Fly healing himself up. You've got 3 heroes making a rotation over towards mid, where Love You Love Me is sitting, and he's going early into the Blink Dagger. Sometimes you see the Kaya Yasha early, but this time it's going to be, at least how it's set up, Blink Kaya BKB.
Yeah, the Blink's also a little bit of a farming item, being able to get around the map a bit faster. Like I said, the catch from EG is not... They don't have the best instant catch, so the Blink's going to let him split push a little bit more aggressively as well. And I think he really does need the Blink this game to be able to follow up.
XSS throws the Ravage, and a nice snowball coming out from Crit. XSS is going to go down the loose Sumail. Crit now on the run from Boboka. It ends up being a 1-for-1 trade, but that was a good snowball from Crit to try and help Sumail, who ends up dying again. Rolling Boulder comes out just missing to the left of Crit. Tag team used. They'll bring the TP over of the Centaur, and Crit just trying to run away, but the Magnetide's placed on top of him. The False Promise comes out as well. They've got the snowball, hits on Fenrir. Now the stun coming through on a Boboka, who ends up dying. So does Fenrir. 2 heroes dead over top, and then Love You Love Me mid will also fall. So the Blade Fury's there, the Stormhammer under the tower, and a little bit of trouble as Arteezy. The Warcry comes out. He's got the healing ward to try and stay alive, and we'll see if it's enough, and it will be. Sylar ends up backing away.
That was a really questionable dive from Aster. I feel like they're just not respecting the Oracle enough. Like, Fly is just sitting in these fights and doing whatever he wants. He's not really getting gone on. He had the ult the entire time, so even if they had managed to get Crit lower, then would have easily been saved. I don't know. That bad couple of minutes for Aster there, especially losing the OD as well. And this jug is pretty farmed. Arteezy just buying up small items so far. Gonna pick up a Yasha. not 100% clear what he's going for just yet this game. Does probably need want a Manta style at some point just to help deal with the Earth Spirit silence and whatnot. So might see that early, and maybe a Diffusal Blade to go along with it, something like that.
Thing about the dive over top too, like they used that Ravage. It did get the kill on a Sumail, who they've slowed down quite a lot at 1-5 and 2, but now you're without the Ravage for another 43 seconds, and that's the one skill that EG are kind of like, all right, if this is down, we're ready to move in.
They were thinking about a go at mid. Ran forward. I think they were considering snowballing everyone on top of the OD, but not gonna go for it. They do have some good information around the mid lane, so they know that there's heroes lurking just behind the tower, and not gonna make any silly decisions. Sylar
Snowball coming out bottom. Sylar uses the War Cry, but the Walrus Punch follows it up. Fenrir comes over. They've also got S4 and Fly making their way towards the bottom lane. Stampede gets used. They find Fenrir. Sylar, the first one to fall on the side of Aster. The shards are going to block Fenrir next to everybody on EG. And it's another 2 kills for them.
And they're going to lose this tower. That's the big thing. At least the Tide is managing to take the top tier one, so it is going to be a little bit of a trade, but this is what I was talking about with the EG lineup. Once they get the ball rolling, it's really difficult to deal with. Aster are going to have to, if they want to stop this, they're going to have to take a good team fight with the Ravage somehow, but not going to be easy necessarily with just the Vlads on the Tide. He's working on his blink now, but it's going to take a little while.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Bovica now on the opposite side of the trees as S4 and Crit nearby on this tier 1 over mid. They don't have a blink, they don't have Stampede. Bovica shows himself for a moment, but they can just go in with the Snowball if Bovica comes into vision and they feel comfortable enough to go with it. And Sumail's going to clean up this creep wave, and then they might just go after that. There's the creep wave gone. The Snowball comes out. Love You Love Me. He's going to use the Astral Imprisonment, trying to keep his Earth Spirit alive, but that puts him very vulnerable to an Omni Slash that comes out from RTZ to get the first kill. Bovica finds an escape for a moment. Stormhammer on RTZ. EG, they're looking to maybe reinitiate the Geomagnetic Grip onto the Oracle, but it's not going to be enough to get the kill into RTZ. And they just split up from there. The skirmish is short, and they get the kill into Lover.
There's so much save from EG. It's going to be really difficult for Aster to actually burst down any of the cores in these team fights. Like, either the Tusk is going to save him or the Oracle is going to save him. So they need to somehow ravage the target that they want to go and both of the saving supports, or maybe manage to get a really good grip on multiple heroes. But EG easily, I mean, they took the bottom tier 1 and then got to mid in the time that it took Aster to finish off that top tower. Of course, it was only Tide pushing, but again, just goes to show the problem that I think Aster are going to have this game. That they're really going to just steadily lose map control from this point. Like, I don't think they're going to take the mid tier 1 for quite some time. And they're actually just going for a smoke right now. This is maybe a little bit unexpected if you're EG. I don't think they would anticipate that Aster's going to be on the front foot aggressively like this, but they do have a Fiend script that they want to use, and I think that's the big reason for this smoke. And they want to establish a ward around here so somebody can keep pushing out top lane.
They do have Ravaged Insanity as Eclipse ready to go with the new blink for Love You Love Me. And then in doing so, Sylar just continuing to farm the jungle. He's picked up the Echo Saber. God Strength off cooldown now, and yeah, like you said, they come into the jungle, they place a ward onto the high ground near the shrine, and they'll pressure the top tier 2 a little bit.
Yeah, just forcing somebody to come over here, but it's just Crit. He's going to soak up this little bit of experience. He's going to be the one buying the Vlads for the team. This item has just become, I don't know, so ubiquitous, I suppose, this patch. It got some changes. It suits the way that everybody's playing, and yeah, build up really nice and easy. No big surprise to see it getting grabbed here, and it's gonna kind of, they don't need it, but it's gonna make Roshan that much easier for EG, and that's 100% the game plan for them. They grab a couple of items, they hopefully win a team fight, or just don't trade too badly in a team fight with the Ravage being used, and then they can just pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and go straight to the Roshan, and continue going from there. So Aster gonna have to find some way to disrupt that game plan.
For right now, they did place that ward. They were aggressive there, but afterwards, they're just trying to farm up a little bit, find these next couple of items, and maybe set themselves up for a fight that's coming in the next couple of minutes or so. which I think is okay. You've got the Echo Saber, you want the Blink Dagger on the Sven. That's going to put a Blink Dagger on Sven, OD, as well as the Tide. So the opportunity for really good positioning, at least here for Aster, is definitely probable with all these Blink Daggers coming out.
At that point, they might be able to actually focus someone down. That'd be the thing. They can have they can jump on the Oracle and the Tusk in the back lines, and then immediately turn to one of the cores and focus them down quickly. We'll see. I mean, EG have some other tools up their sleeve. They're getting a couple items here and there as well. Sumail's getting reasonably tanky. Picked up the armlet now. Just going to be going for a Dragonlance. No Heaven's Halberd or anything for him this game. I think it could have been a good Heaven's Halberd game, but I think they're looking ahead to the fact that they... maybe they're just feeling confident about the fights right now, and this is more about, okay, what do we need 10 minutes from now? And I think the Dragonlance is certainly going to help with high ground siege and whatnot. Because they do have to win this game earlier, I feel. If we go late game, ultra late game, like, I think Aster's lineup is better, no question. OD is just such a late game monster. Once he gets, 5 items, so hard to deal with.
Yeah, you're talking about a Sven that's going to be built up if we come late game, ultra late game, and then you've got OD, who should have enough items here to really start just wailing away at EG. And then you've also got the setup that they bring with the Ravage, with Sanity's Eclipse, Fiend's Grip, the Lockdown. That with a couple of items could look really good into the late game, ultra late game. But for right now, EG are feeling strong, and they've got Arteezy, who's up 2,000 net worth on anybody else in the game, and he is looking really good.
Yeah, EG got a really nice D ward there. Aster were trying to gank to their vision on the shrine, but now it's EG on the front foot with the smoke. If they're paying really close attention, they might have seen the Vlad Zora at mid. Creeps lifestealing a little bit, but it's like, yeah, the Aster have a pretty good idea of what's going on. They're holding this high ground. They do get scanned out, but just playing together, though. They are going to continue falling behind if they keep just playing as this 5-man clump, right? Because Arteezy is off doing his own thing, and EG are just getting a little bit more out of the map since Aster playing as 5.
SSS, box crit, Sumail in the river. Also got S4 nearby. Over bottom is going to be the Jug, and then top is Love You Love Me, so he's far away from the team. But they do have this tower if he needs to TP in. Question is, when is EG looking to jump and actually blink into the trees? They'll find themselves the Storm as well as the God Strength coming out the Fortune's End on S4. The Shard's coming across, the Rolling Boulder comes out, but it's not going to hit on anybody. The Stampede follows it up. Arteezy moving in with a Blade Fury, looking over at Bobica, trying to single him out. And Sylar moving forward with XSS. They do have the Ravage available. They look over at Sumail, who's hitting away at XSS. The Boulder Smash comes out with the Omni Slash hitting on a Bobica as well as Sylar. And I think he's looking for the TP on top of that. But the Ravage is there from XSS to get the kill on Arteezy. On the backlines, they find themselves Fenrir. They'll get the Walrus Punch out as well as the kill. Sumail crit as well as S4 looking to maybe continue this fight as got XSS without the Ravage, Bobica nearby, and now Sylar getting hit with a Hook Stomp, Double Edge coming out, but he's used the Warcry beforehand. Stormhammer comes in with a Life Break from Sumail onto this Sven. They'll get the kill. 2 heroes dead on the side of Aster, and they only lose Arteezy for the moment, but that was a big kill here for Aster to at least get Arteezy.
Yeah, unfortunately Arteezy just got a little bit split off from the team. Aster kind of chasing him off to the right-hand side. But you can see as soon as the Ravage gets used, that's go time for EG. They know that at that point they are much stronger in the situation in the team fight. And like I said earlier, all they needed was that Ravage to be used in kind of an even fight, and then they completely open up the path to Roshan. I don't know if there's any way for Aster to stop this at all.
There's no way to get into those roads.
Yeah, that clock is still ticking though. That's the one thing. EG still have to. They're gonna have to make good use of this Aegis and continue to leverage the Jug while he's reasonably far ahead. Arteezy just going for some more damage. Is picking up a Maelstrom. There's a lot of physical mitigation on Aster, so the magical damage is gonna help. I mean, there's the Kraken Shell and the Warcry as well. So magical damage is certainly helpful.
Nice ward placed here by EG as well. Right by the tier 2 tower. Pretty deep, yeah. And it's going to give them some really good vision with them obviously taking the tier 1 tower over mid, and then they've got this ward inside the jungle over towards the top end of the map for in the side of Aster as well. And oh,
Radiant's top
as I say
tower has
that, never
fallen.
mind. Bobica finds it, takes it away.
Radiant's top tower is
The
under
dewarding
attack.
from Aster has been on point.
Radiant
They've really
structures are fortified.
kept good control over their side of the map. But it's only really their side of the map. They're not making any inroads over onto the Dire side, which is just the problem with their heroes as far as pushing is concerned.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's top
Like, this
tower
mid-tier 1
has fallen.
tower is still there. We're heading towards 21 minutes, but they just can't really do anything to take it.
Top tier
Whoop.
2 going down. EG continuing to just put that pressure on to Aster. Maybe force him into a fight that they're uncomfortable with. They do have all their ults up, or, well, actually Sven uses his God Strength over bottom to at least take this bottom tier 1. But they lose the mid tier 2 while this is happening, and you're losing tier 2s in multiple lanes. You actually have no more outer towers available to you.
Yep, they're stuck. It's gonna have to come down to a little bit of high ground defense now. Sylar did use the ultimate just to kind of grab a little bit of farm and push things out. So they know that that's on cooldown, and that could be a good opportunity for EG. He's just thinking about it.
XSS thinking about coming in. Sour throws the Stormhammer over on RTZ. Now uses the War Cry, the Rolling Boulder out. Sour coming over, and the Omni Slash comes in to get the kill on a Fenrir. Now they work over on the Sour, the Blade Fury following it up. They'll find themselves a second. They both don't have buyback, and Sumail with a false promise on top of him might even jump in a little bit further. The blink as well as the hook stomp coming out from S4. That's going to clean up Bobica. 3 heroes down on the side of Aster. And now it's time to clean up the Aster base.
I don't really understand Aster running out of the base like that. They didn't have God Strength for a little bit. I don't think there was really any way for them to take a fight, but gonna lose a few heroes, and now it looks like we're gonna lose a really easy tier 3.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Just the one thing to say is they still do have Ravage available.
Trying to smoke the... Okay, I think they're gonna smoke, try and wrap around and go for the backlines. They have to kill these saving supports. They can't... There's no point in going on the Huskar at all.
Geomagnetic Grip. They find the Oracle. Snowball coming through. Sanity's Clip is going to be used. Fly, the first one taken out. And now RTZ as well as Crate moving forward on the Love You Love Me. And he is just cleaned up with Tag Team coming in. The Rolling Boulder is going to hit on his Sumail as well as the Boulder Smash. They've got the Brain Tap to at least take of the Aegis. Blank, Hook Stomp missing. S4 now trying to find something afterwards, but the Ravage is timed perfectly to get him after the Aegis, and after he comes into the second life, the Fiend Grip on top of it. They'll get the second kill on a Sumail. They'll look for more. The Geomagnetic Grip will be placed here on a Crate. Snowball over on a Bobica. RTZ immediately just trying to TP out, and there's the short to block out the rest of Aster. The Hook Stomp coming out on XSS, and now pushing forward is going to be Sylar looking for S4. The chase is on. The War Cries there with the Gush. They've also got Fenrir just trying to lock him up. The Stormhammer on top of it. They'll get the kill. That's going to be 3 dead. Meanwhile, Crit running away from Bobica, who comes across this mid lane, but back over towards the creeps.
Not a difficult play, but very nice from Bobica as they were going on the Huskar, just to make sure that he gets the silence onto the Tusk, so there can't be a snowball save. The fight looked, I thought, pretty good for EG with how many spells got, well, some fairly big spells getting committed on Fly, and they picked off the OD, but didn't really have enough control left, and good patience on the Ravage as well from XXS, saving it until the second life from Sumail. So EG, I mean, they do end up losing that fight pretty badly, but they can go and take the shrines now. They're still pretty far ahead. It's this next couple of team fights that are really going to decide the game, and see if Aster can make their way back in. These next couple of items are going to be quite big. They've got 2 BKBs on the way, I believe. Sven going for one, and Lover also has one queued up right now, though he hasn't bought any components just yet, so we'll see. Depending on how these next couple of fights go, maybe he'll decide that he needs something other than the KB.
High Blink towards the BKB, but EG, they smoked up. They had Sumail showing over mid, and Stormhammer. No follow-up just yet, but they're going to look to just take the tier 3. We'll see if Aster have any answers to this.
Ravage is still on cooldown, 40 seconds, and EG pushed fast, so they're not worried at all. We're just sitting on the front lines.
Nightmare on to Sumail. They've got XSS TPing back, but he doesn't have Ravage, like you just said, and it's not up for another 30 seconds, so an easy melee racks, an easy tier 3. They also drop some wards here inside the base. Aster, they're starting to get closed in to a point where they can't even really leave the base to try and farm, and they're forced to just consecutively high ground while EG are able to run the map and rule the map however they want.
Yep, they're farming everywhere. This Sven has like decent net worth, but just not the point where he'd like to be. You know, Sven kind of a hero where you want to be an item ahead of other people to really have that much impact, especially because you need to kill someone right at the beginning of a fight.
You can find Arteezy, that would be a big one. Slow down this game.
Silo was completely alone.
Rolling Boulder Smash as well as the Geomagnetic Grip. They've got the Beam's Grip on top of this. Fenrir holding him down for Love You Love Me to get the kill, and now they look over at Sumail, who comes over. And Link hook stomp, nicely placed on the Fenrir. And now they've got the Fortune's End to lock down Love You Love Me. That follow-up should be there with the BKB being popped now. Siler going in with a nice stun to Slock up wide. They've got the Sanity's quick drops on a couple of the Ravage hits on 3 heroes here. They've got 4 dead, but the buyback comes out from Arteezy. Sumail trying to survive, trying to keep his team in it. But unfortunately, with the buyback coming out from Arteezy and nobody else, this buyback's for naught.
He bought back and his TP's on cooldown. Look at this, it's still got 2 seconds to go, so I don't know what that buyback was about necessarily, but that is a huge loss for EG. Like, lose everybody, Jug buys back, doing nothing, so if he dies now, they're in huge trouble. And Aster don't really lose anyone. Very unexpected play. You could see when EG kind of they poked at Sylar at bottom because he was farming under this ward, and they kind of hoof stomped him, but they thought that everyone was there. They had no idea that Aster had snuck out of the base to go for that gank. And Arteezy probably felt safe because he just saw Sven on the other side of the map, and he figured, hey, if Sven's on the other side of the map, the rest of the team is all the way over there. They've been playing as 5 this entire game, and then in that instant, he gets gone on and killed. That was a very big swing, though. EG, I think, still in the lead, but yeah, they can't afford to lose too many more fights. I think 1 or 2 more lost fights, and this is probably Aster's game. They're gonna have to win the next one, get Roche, and that should be enough to close it out, but we'll see. You know, Aster getting some big items going, especially this Refresher Orb on the Tidehunter. Jeez, XXS has farmed up a storm this game.
Yeah, he's sitting second on the net worth, top for his team too. Yeah, and that's definitely one of the things that comes out when you're thinking pros of cons of a player. XSS is definitely one of those guys who is consistently on top of the net worth, and he's an offlaner. He'll find the farm no matter what, no matter who's here on his team, you know, especially when you're prioritizing farm, especially on a Sven who's got the cleave to clean up the map pretty quickly. XSS still some way is top of the net worth for his team.
Okay, so I mean, EG making the disciplined plays here. They come, they clean up the shrine, they're doing laying the groundwork for the Roshan. And just trying to hold this high ground. This is a good place for them to fight. With a ward on the high ground, they got a sentry down as well. Really difficult for Aster to push up into that area. So they can just keep sitting here and kind of threatening the top racks a little bit, though I don't know if they actually want to take the fight necessarily. They might try and stall for the... they could try and stall for a Roshan. They do have bottom lane already with just the melee barracks, but that's going to be pushing in constantly. So if it ever comes to a stalemate at the Roshan, then they can just leverage that and the fact that that creep wave is constantly pushing in to force somebody from Aster to back up, and then they might be able to go in and just take the Roche quickly then. But they're going to have to be a little bit more disciplined now that Aster have sort of the teamfight superiority of this Refresher Orb. They don't really have any way to... There's no way for them to deal with it. Really, they don't have any way to kill the Tide without him getting both Ravages off.
Tide ready to throw both Ravages, ready to go into this next fight. And Aster, I know they lost the tier 3 top and they lost the melee racks bottom, but even being behind a little bit in net worth, they seem to be in control at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. They are... not broken at all, right? They kind of... They bent, but they didn't break. Oh, they get on Lovers out.
And they're looking for Love You Love Me over me. The Fortune's End comes out, but he's got the S1 Prism. XSS goes in. That's going to be the Ravage, but the BKB is going to be popped by Sumail. They've got the Nightmare to lock in S4 for a moment. XSS is going to be hit by the Omnisurge that comes all the way over to Sylar, and the Astral Prism keeps him alive. So he might be able to get himself off another Ravage. Love You Love Me backing off. They'll get the kill, so Arteezy gets one. He's got buyback. And that is it. So they get the kill onto the Tide, who uses the Refresher Orb, so does have Ravage again if he wants to buy back and maybe contest this Roach.
I think the Tide got faked out by the extra 1 second of Blade Fury on the Jug. It seemed like he was trying to jump in and ravage him right as the Blade Fury was ending, but the extra 1 second talent meant that Arteezy was absolutely fine.
Oh no, they found XSS again. He just bought back. He's got Ravage. Sour's going to move in with a Rolling Boulder coming out from Bobica. They'll find S4. He's a little bit by himself, but the Sanity Clip is going to be dropped down. They'll get the kill onto the Centaur. They'll look for more. Sour moving forward. The Blade Fury about to run out for Arteezy with a blink forward from XSS. The False Promise is going to be placed on Sumail's right-clicking away at XSS, who bought back a moment ago. Crit, Snowball, staying alive, looks over at XSS, who's dead for 104 seconds, and he doesn't have buyback, and he never got to throw that Ravage out. Fenrir, he ends up dying. Bobica's gone as well, who buys back immediately, and they've only lost S4, who now buys back as well.
Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack.
They can't fight without God Strength, Aster. I feel like that's the second or third time this game where they've gone looking for something without having the God Strength available, and they really need that little bit of extra damage. Otherwise, the saves start coming in from EG. They've got that sustain, and they don't have to worry about Tide at all. Just dead for 70 seconds, even though he has a Ravage. So this is completely EG's base. They can run in here. They can do whatever they want.
God Strength used. Stormhammer comes out. S4 just bought back a little bit ago. He's going to be dead again. So just like the TIE Hunter a little bit earlier, he ends up falling. He's going to be dead for 75 seconds. They look at Love You who's got the BKB, but it's not going to keep him alive. He's dead for 64. He does that buyback immediately getting used. The 14 seconds is going to come out on Crit to make sure that he's able to walk out here successfully, but Sour has words against that. Throws the Stormhammer. The Omni Slash comes out on a Sour who's going to be locked up thanks to the Astro Imprisonment. Saving his life from the Omni Slash. The Rolling Boulder comes in. They'll get the Aegis on Arteezy. Now they look over at Sumail with the False Promise. Staying alive for now. Sour dead, buying back. Now they look over. Trying to at least get the kill on his Sumail, and the roll False Promise and fully healed up. Oh boy.
He's just chopping the buildings. Wants to get a little bit more before the Tide Hunter respawns. That's going to be somewhat of a problem for EG once that happens. And they are going to respect the fact that Aster have 4 heroes and just back away from the 4v3. But God, that was expensive for Aster. 2 core buybacks. Didn't really get any big kills in return. And very topsy-turvy game. Net worth kind of going all over the place.
Who can say what I will do with this power? Fulfill.
And the tier 3 was getting pretty heavily pressured by 2 siege creeps. It's down to 200 health. So definitely a potential opening there for Aster if they're able to bring the game back. But it was a 2,000 net worth lead for EG. Now back into the 11,000 net worth lead. And if we take a look over at the graph, you see that the gold was getting close to even for what seems to be the first time since like minute 9. And then XP was very much in the favor of Aster, but now that's even over towards the even mark. And Dota Plus, 89% chance for EG.
I think that's pretty reasonable. Aster are 1 lost team fight away from just losing the entire game. The Huskar disarm has been so annoying for Aster in these last couple of fights. Like Sumail just jumping in on top of the Sven or on top of the OD and getting the inner fire off has been really, really potent. Lover and Sylar just can't do all that much if they don't have their BKBs. They still have decent durations left. Sylar's got 8 seconds and Lover has 7, but those buybacks meaning that their item progression has completely stalled. The AC really far away for the Sven, and the same can be said for the Hex on the OD. They're not going to get these items unless they win a fight, so gonna have to make do with what they have and really have to get some proper use out of this double Ravage. We looked at that from XXS and we're like, okay, now that they've got this, they're sorted for team fights for the rest of the game. They should win the rest of the 5v5s, but it just has not been the case. EG kind of dragging the fights around and being able to pick off targets at the fringes without presenting too many opportunities to get a big jump in Ravage.
Really hoping for at least to use this for consecutive Ravages and maybe take a fight, and it's almost seemingly what the whole game is banked on as Crit comes to the high ground. There are the shards. God's Strength comes through as well as the Stormhammer. The Silence is going to be out on the Crit. They're moving forward with the Wave Fury. They've got the Ravage coming out, but again, the Wave Fury lasting long enough with the Life Ray coming out from Sumail. Omni Slash bouncing around, coming over to a couple of these neutral creeps, but there's the second Ravage right before he dies. They'll get it onto a lot of these heroes, but is it going to be enough? They'll take out Crit. Sylar looking over. The Sanity Scope is going to be dropped down by Lovey Lummy. As Tor chasing away, they've lost the Sven, they lost the Tide, and now all they have is the OD to really do damage on the side of EG. With a false promise, keeping Sumail alive once again. They'll kill off Fenrir. 3 heroes gone, none of which have buyback, and this could just be if EG.
Yeah, gotta get the creeps in the base. Oh, they do already have creeps in the base. Never mind. There you go. GG.
Yeah, there it is.
Aster just... Yeah, Ravage is not doing enough. Crit survived for such a long time. Like, that was almost the perfect setup for Aster to be able to take a fight. They were sitting on the high ground.